Hey everyone, happy Monday. It's that time of day where we take a moment and pause and say thanks to everyone who's making the world run. Let's start with the men and women in the military, police officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses, lab technicians, hospital orderlies, small business owners, restaurateurs, truck drivers, everyone working at the grocery stores and fast food joints, the Port of Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Oakland, and Union Station, the pilots and flight attendants. Let's listen to the national anthem.
Shining a spotlight on the insane asylum that is modern-day California. It's the John Phillips Show.
And a very happy Monday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are broadcasting live on the radio in Southern California and KABC, and we're broadcasting live on the radio in Northern California on KSFO, but we're also broadcasting live on video, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. You can also do the George Gascon if that's easier for you.
Do a Google on YouTube.
If you just go to YouTube and type in John Phillips, Randy Wang, you'll see the account for this show and the account for the Accountability Podcast. We're also on Facebook at KABC Radio and 810 KSFO. We're also on X at Johnny Don't Like, and we're also on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. We encourage you to check out the the YouTube stream that we've got going on till 3 o'clock. And if you're in the chat room, hit the like button, participate in the chat. Some of your comments will make the screen as we all have a lot of fun until 3 o'clock here today.
Now, last week, Randy, you issued a challenge to the audience that the audience met.
We asked if we could get our Accountability Podcast up to 500 subscribers. And the reward for that was a visual representation of the very famous Katie Porter story.
No!
And you made it. You did it. We appreciate it. We premiered that video on Friday's show. The full video that you can watch and share and do whatever you want with is available on our YouTube channel at Randy Wang Radio. And Johnny, we've decided for this week, we've got a brand new stretch goal.
Oh, is that so?
So here's the deal. As we try to get more and more people to check out our brand new podcast, the Accountability Podcast with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
Accountability.
Which you can get at youtube.com/@accountability podcast, or just do a Google on the YouTube.
Do a Google on YouTube.
For John Phillips, Randy Wang, and you will most likely find it. If you have any trouble finding it, let us know. We'll send you the direct link. We're doing a brand new show this Wednesday where we'll be covering the uncensored Boyle Heights Town Hall where Karen Bass and Barbara Ferrer got cussed out. We want to get that feed to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help us out by, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you have, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your social groups, hit that subscribe button. Once we get to 1,000, I worked very hard on a little video over the weekend. It is a visual representation of the famous call from Kathy in Malibu. Many years ago, a probably drunk woman called us and made all kinds of strange comments about Martha Stewart and Madonna. And I have created a very special video, but we will not premiere it until we get to 1,000 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast. Oh, Crazy 8 wants me to link to the Katie Porter video in the chat. I can totally do that for you. I know how to do that. Let me just go to my studio, and then let me go to my content, and let me go to the Katie Porter story from Mike in Valencia, copying that link right now and putting that link in the chat. Watch it during a break or watch it later on after the show. I will also put a link to our Accountability Podcast in the chat as well. We really encourage you. You can watch so many different ways, but we really encourage you to watch us on YouTube because that's where the chat room is already a poppin'.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. The top story today is that the Commie grocery store in the city and county of San Francisco is no more.
The plan to create public grocery stores by taxing any vacant grocery stores in the city of San Francisco has been killed by Mayor Daniel Lurie, who said it was a half-baked idea and not ready for prime time.
What do you even get at a communist grocery store anyway besides bread lines? And here's a question. Do they sell Little Debbie's or do they regard that as child labor?
The details weren't very clear. What the supervisor from the Tenderloin, Bilal Mahmoud, said was, well, we have so many food deserts where the grocery stores are not, we're not seeing a Safeway in the Tenderloin. We're not seeing a Safeway in Soma. And you have certain places like Walgreens that have closed down, but they're holding on to their lease and they're not letting their competitors move in. So we need to tax anyone doing that and use that money to give to nonprofits to open community grocery stores.
Well, they're all closing down because the crackheads steal everything. So what do you do at the communist grocery store when the crackheads steal stuff? You just let them get away with it, but you harangue them for putting everything in a plastic bag?
I think we all remember very famously the Walgreens in San Francisco that had a chain and a lock on the freezer because people were stealing ice creams and pizza for one. Well, let's see why this plan is not currently going forward in the city and the county of San Francisco. Here is a report from NBC in the Bay.
A San Francisco supervisor's idea to convert neighborhood grocery stores, corner stores, into publicly subsidized markets may be on the ropes. And the supervisor behind the idea is blaming the mayor. Here's NBC Bay Area Sergio Quintana with more.
San Francisco is not going full Mamdani.
Good.
The idea to create a city fund to help corner stores become affordable neighborhood produce and pantry markets is something Supervisor Bilal Mahmoud announced late last month. He says it's modeled after New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani's executive action to create government-owned supermarkets. But this week, that proposal hit the
Can you
skids.
imagine relying on this guy to do the ordering for your neighborhood communist supermarket? I can't imagine any of the produce actually making it to the shelves of that grocery store without being as black as night. The only produce you're going to be able to get from that grocery store is on the Trix box.
The name of the grocery store is going to be Grocery Outlet. We got a message here on YouTube from Shy Gal. Are they going to charge you for a bag at the commie grocery store? Asking for a friend.
That's a good question.
And Supervisor Mahmoud says he's not happy with Mayor Daniel Lurie and Budget Committee Chair Connie Chan.
Hey, that's the lady running against Scott Wiener.
Oh, yeah, Nancy Pelosi's choice.
Is that the mayor called the budget chair and asked her to pull this to even before it could be voted on. This has never happened.
Daniel Lurie, who is, by the way, the most popular mayor in the country right now, is trying to kill this bad idea even before it gets started.
in the history of the board, in recent history.
Supervisor Mahmoud.
Wait, I got to rewind the tape. What was going on with that lady walking in the street?
She wearing curlers?
I can't tell if she's on her way to audition to be the next Ronald McDonald or not. Okay.
In history.
Supervisor Mahmoud's proposal is actually in two parts. The first is the public fund, but the second is a proposal to tax vacant supermarket sites in the city.
How many of those could there possibly be?
And think about it. There are supermarkets who once operated but couldn't make a buck because of all the retail theft, and now you're going to punish them some more?
I mean, you got to imagine if there are supermarkets that shut down, but they still have vacant buildings, maybe it's because they can't get out of their lease. I can't imagine that Safeway is going to hold on to a vacant storefront because they're worried that Trader Joe's is going to move in.
Supervisor Mahmoud says companies still have leases on
You can still see the Safeway logo kind of on that one.
Oh, yeah.
those sites, even though they're not using them. That's creating what's called food deserts in some neighborhoods. He says,
Can we really even use the term food deserts anymore when we have Instacart and DoorDash? And by the way, Instacart you can use with your EBT card if it's for groceries.
Yeah, who in the United States, regardless of where you live, has no access to groceries?
tax.
And this isn't like some big spread out place. This is San Francisco, where you can take transit anywhere. I think you can take the cable cars right to the Haight-Ashbury Trader Joe's that I drive past every single time I'm going to Golden Gate Park.
Would be an incentive to have those companies either give up those leases or sublease them to other operators who will open businesses there. I asked Mayor Daniel Lurie about his opposition to the proposal.
Is it specifically the idea of taxing empty spaces?
I think there's one reason is taxing things to get them to come in. Doesn't seem like that has worked for us as a city in the past.
Boy, is he refreshing.
You know, it's almost as if you just made sure that a city was safe and clean, that grocery stores could operate without getting robbed right and left, that people would willingly move in.
The Lurie administration is not perfect by any means, especially if you happen to live in the Tenderloin or the Mission, which has gotten out of control. But it is a vast improvement from the London Breed days.
If you are not here, FOMO.
Although I was a big fan of when she went off on everybody for going after her of dancing at the Tony concert without a mask. That was good times.
The spirit moved her.
So no, I don't agree with the policy. I think it's bad policy.
Mayor Daniel Lurie says he's open to working with supervisors on ways of getting more supermarkets to open in the city.
You know, it's one way to do that, and it's when we talked about this before, it's something that our listeners really put out there. It's you don't need to have this kind of approach. If you want more access to food, do more pop-up farmers markets that we see all over the place, including cities like Culver City or San Francisco, what have you. You can have local vendors. You can use your EBT card so the poor can participate as well. It's fresh produce. You can just use an unused block once a week. There are so many different ideas out there, especially if nobody wants to invest in the storefront. And if nobody wants to invest in the storefront, then you got to clean up that neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know if the farmers markets would do it for me. It sounds like you put different things in your grocery cart than I do. Every time I go to the grocery store, it's like my parents are gone for the weekend.
Yeah, you can't get a lot of the little snack cakes at the farmers market. Sometimes they have a vendor that makes all kinds of little cookies.
I've also reached out to Supervisor Connie Chan's office to ask her about her decision to delay a budget committee vote on Supervisor Mahmoud's proposal.
Supervisor Chan was not available for comment. Her legislative aide and spokesperson says Chan also supports the idea of affordable city supermarkets, but says Supervisor Mahmoud's proposal simply isn't ready for voters yet. Writing in part, Supervisor Mahmoud has a number of amendments he is still working on that he wants to make to his legislation. With that, she came to the conclusion that this measure was not ready at this time. If Mahmoud's proposal isn't approved by enough of his colleagues by Tuesday, it won't make the deadline to be added to November's ballot.
But the mayor and I both campaign on not doing the politics of the past, where you have petty backroom deals and where you don't allow votes to even happen. And I thought we moved past that.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Do you think at the commie grocery store they would have Nancy Pelosi's very expensive chocolate ice cream?
They should. You know, Mahmoud is definitely an improvement from Dean Preston, his predecessor in the Tenderloin, but that's still not saying much.
It's like being the tallest building in Omaha.
Now, board president Raphael Mandelman could make the unusual move to allow a vote by the full board on Tuesday, even though this proposal didn't make it out of the budget committee. Neither President Mandelman nor members of his office replied to my inquiry about any decision to do that. In San Francisco, Sergio Quintana, NBC Bay Area News.
So there you go. Daniel Lurie kills the idea to have publicly funded grocery stores, the Mamdani plan in San Francisco, before it even gets a vote.
And this is something that is really at the heart of what it means to be a socialist. You go back to your political science education when you were in school, and what do they teach you about socialism? Socialism is about the government owning the means of production. The government should own the factories. The government should own the farms. The government, in this case, should own the grocery stores. And why allow Trader Joe's and Walmart and Ralph's and all the others to charge whatever it is that they can get away with charging when the government can own the building and the government can set the prices and the government can employ the people who work at the grocery store? Let's just put that all under the umbrella of the government. And what we know is it doesn't work. They did that in Russia. Do you remember, I think it was either Boris Yeltsin or it was Gorbachev.
It was Yeltsin. We have a comment right here from Katie Cat. During the Cold War, Yeltsin was in shock at a normal grocery store because the socialists had nothing like it.
You know what was different, though, than what has been reported about that? According to reports, he walked into a grocery store and he saw that we had like 45 different kinds of toothpaste. And he goes, "Oh my God, you guys have 45 different kinds of toothpaste. Look at this. You have spearmint, you have peppermint, you have cinnamon, you have extra whitening, you have extra sensitive. Oh my God." But you know what I was told? Lewis told me this. It wasn't that he said you have 45 different kinds of toothpaste in this grocery store. He walks in with this shocked look on his face, just getting off the plane from Russia, and he goes, "Oh my God, you have toothpaste?"
I love that you're using Lewis, even though he doesn't work here anymore.
Why not? It's the John Phillips Show. You know, when people think about serious injuries, they usually think of broken bones or, something obvious. But one of the most serious injuries that people deal with after an accident is actually vision loss. After a car crash, a fall, or a head injury, your eyesight can change, sometimes right away. Sometimes it takes weeks or months later. Blurry vision, double vision, headaches, trouble focusing, and a lot of times the eyes look fine, but the brain, it isn't processing what it's seeing correctly. That kind of injury affects everything: your work, your driving, your independence. And if someone else's negligence caused it, that's not just an inconvenience, it's a real long-term issue. That's why I trust and recommend Fielding Law. They don't just look at what's obvious, they understand brain and vision injuries and how deeply they impact your life. If you or someone you care about is dealing with vision problems after an accident, call Fielding Law at 833-88-SHARK or find them online at clarkthesharklaw.com. That's clarkthesharklaw.com. The John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, not only can you listen to us on the radio, but you can watch us perform the show live.
We are broadcasting live all over the place. YouTube.com/@RandyWangRadio. You can see the show, see us, see all the stories that we're covering, and, of course, comment in the chat room. We're getting fantastic comments from everybody, including this one from Saxman. Here in Pasadena, within a 1-mile radius, I have a Vons, a Ralph's, a Smart & Final, and a Sprouts, and we also have 4 massage parlors.
Oh, my.
You can comment in the chat room. You can hang out, meet some like-minded friends. And if you're in that chat room, hit the like button. It means a lot to us because it gets YouTube to push us out to even more people. We're at 35 likes so far. Let's try to get that to 100 by the end of the hour.
And Randy, we're also trying to get the number of subscribers to the podcast to 1,000 by the end of the week.
If we can get to 1,000 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast, which if you would like to subscribe to it, go to youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast. I'm also putting the link in the chat right now. If we can get to 1,000 by Friday, I have put together a very special video that details the crazy call we got from listener Kathy in Malibu years ago, where she talks about Martha Stewart and Madonna. I worked real hard on it, but you're not getting it until we get to 1,000 subs at youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast.
It's the John Phillips Show. Don't you go anywhere.
Car accidents happen constantly. If you happen to get hurt in one, for over 8 years, I've been talking about my friend, Clark Fielding, and the jaws of justice at Fielding Law at 833-88-SHARK. 833-887-4275, 833-88-SHARK. Even a minor accident can lead to a major long-term injury, so don't go at this alone. Get the jaws of justice on your side, helping you out with your case, just like he's done for so many listeners over the last 8 years. That is a long time to be sponsoring a radio show. That's because Clark believes in us and we believe in Clark. 833-88-SHARK, 833-887-4275, 833-88-SHARK. And go to the website, clarkthesharklaw.com. That's where you can download the accident preparation guide. It's free. Print it out. Put it in your glove box. I did. clarkthesharklaw.com.
Hurt in an accident? Bite back. Call Clark. 833-88-SHARK. clarkthesharklaw.com.
It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you are watching the show live on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. We want to get those likes as high as possible, so that way it gets pushed out into the ether in front of as large of an audience as possible. So thank you to those who have already clicked like. And if you're watching us and you haven't clicked like yet, please do so. It will help us out a lot.
We're getting all kinds of suggestions, including from Decent Trick. Can you create a GIF that has Katie Porter pouring Cher on John's head and one with the fake doctor putting subscribe in Randy's mouth?
Oh, my.
I guess I got some homework to do over the weekend.
I don't want to see the fake doctor putting anything in your mouth.
No, and I don't want to see her toileting either.
Wash your hands often and always before eating and after toileting.
All right. Right now, we have an update for you on something that is very near and dear to the heart of just about every individual who works in radio. And by that, I'm, of course, talking about fast food.
Gavin Newsom's Fast Food Council, the buildup of people that were appointed from different unions that were supposed to negotiate raises, including the $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers. Well, apparently they haven't met in 2 years.
Haven't met in 2 years?
And part of the reason is Gavin Newsom is supposed to appoint the people on this board, and he's been too busy campaigning in Nevada.
Wow. Well, I guess he's not prepared to promote Mayor McCheese.
For more on the California Fast Food Council, Here's a report from our friend Ashley Zavala and KCRA3 on her weekend politics show, California Politics 360, that airs on KCRA3, KTVU, Fox 2 in the Bay, and Fox 11 in Los Angeles.
The future of California's first-in-the-nation fast food council is in limbo. The council is made up of fast food workers, union leaders, and fast food franchisees. The group is supposed to bargain wages and working conditions for the state's nearly 500,000 fast food workers. But this council has
I
not...
understand why they didn't meet.
Why is that?
So this council is supposed to be made up of fast food workers, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you can't have a room full of people where no one washes their hands after they go to the bathroom and expect anyone to show up.
Wash your hands often and always before eating and after toileting.
Met in 2 years, and it's been missing a leader for more than a year. We're asking, is this effort over?
We really do need this clarification.
This was Gabby Campbell 2 years ago at one of the California Fast Food Council's last full meetings back in 2024.
Hadn't spoken with anyone from the council. Nobody's reached out.
2 years later, the Handles franchisee is still waiting to hear if California's fast food minimum wage law applies to her ice cream stand.
I remember this story from 2 years ago. I am not surprised at all that she still doesn't have an answer 2 years later.
Well, and if they don't have a hearing, there's no one for her to yell at.
Handles, they actually opened one of these in Encino on, I think, Friday.
It's just day by day. We operate our business to the best of our ability, treat the employees with, kindness and, grace. Lots of young first-timers that we have.
I bet you if you work there, you've had every single one of those flavors multiple times.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't advertise how young your workforce is unless you want those Lincoln Project guys coming over, lady.
When I was 17, one of the many jobs I had working at Magic Mountain was the manager of all the kids that worked at the ice cream stand in the front of the shop. And I would open the place up. I'd be completely by myself, and I would be in the freezer by myself shoving cheesecakes into my mouth every single day. I gained so much weight during working that job.
I just wish that it was a little easier for us as the franchisees, as the owners, to know that we were covered and not part of this fast food craziness.
The Fast Food Council was part of...
Does an ice cream shack count as fast food?
Well, remember, didn't he do a carve-out for his buddy who owned Panera?
Yes, he did. And there was all kinds of confusion as to, does it count as fast food if it's a place that bakes its own bread, as to why is that a significant change? Because Subway bakes their own bread. It's just made of yoga mats.
A first-in-the-nation law state lawmakers and the governor passed in 2023 that set the minimum wage to $20 an hour for the workers of large fast food corporations.
In-N-Out still pays better.
Well, and then the other fast food joints have just replaced all of their workers with AI. If you try to make your breakfast order at McDonald's from an actual human being, good luck finding one. You have to do it from the kiosk.
Well, and they've figured out ways to make it so you don't need as many employees taking the order when they incentivize everyone to use those apps, and those apps are very addictive because that's how you get all the deals. There's a reason I don't have any of them on my phone. That would be very dangerous. If I got a push alert for dollar fries, I might have to go hit the drive-thru.
The council was meant to bargain the wages and working conditions for fast food.
Who made that logo? Why are the fries coming out of the guy's hands?
It doesn't even look like hands. It looks like someone's doing the splits and the burger. Well,
this is why we had to add the video element to see things like this. Also, at least as far as I'm aware, and I've definitely been a big consumer of fast food for many years, but why is there a beer behind the burger? You can't get beer.
Yeah, who serves beer from a drive-through window?
food workers. But that's been anything but fast. 3 years later, the council has yet to make any decisions. It's also been without a leader.
Well, we said it before, and we'll say it again. You know who was the soothsayer on all of this?
The bureaucracy is real.
Shang was always right.
Our girl was clairvoyant.
For more than a year. The council's ex-chairman, Nick Hardiman, acknowledged in 2024 the council has been deeply divided.
This is another thing that is so emblematic of everything that Gavin Newsom has done in 8 years. Big, bold proclamation. This is going to be a game changer. And then completely abandons it, and there's no follow-through, and there's no details.
That is Gavin Newsom in a nutshell.
We got a comment here from Danny. I'm still laughing that there is a fast food council. That's one of the things that Gavin Newsom is really good at, creating all kinds of councils and boards and commissions. Remember when Gavin Newsom had the special session to find out why the oil companies were ripping us off, and he created a brand new bureaucracy to investigate why the oil companies were ripping us off, and then they did an investigation for a year and found that turns out it's not the oil companies that were ripping us off. It was the gas tax and cap and trade.
Oh, yeah. And then Gavin moved on to the next one.
Yep.
A spokesperson for the Department of Industrial Relations told us the council
There's yet another bureaucracy I've never heard of.
Will not meet until it has a new chair.
Is it going defunct?
Interesting. I've not gotten a fast food council question in some time. Not going.
Well, that's because Ashley pays attention to everything that you do, even though Gavin doesn't pay attention to any of this stuff.
And don't act like it's a dumb and trivial question. You're the jerk that came up with the idea in the first place.
Defunct by definition.
I asked Governor Gavin Newsom about this. He's responsible for appointing the council's next leader.
This group, this whole full council hasn't met in 2 years. So that's why, do you intend to appoint someone before you leave?
It sounds like we'll need to make that appointment. And so that appointment will be made. And the question is it a matter of weeks or a month? But as I said,
I love that he has so much on his desk. He's so busy. He has hundreds of appointments he needs to fill before the end of his term. But he's got plenty of time to go out to Nevada to campaign in a room full of 12 people for the next mayor.
Has he even visited Boyle Heights yet since that environmental disaster began?
He has not. And that is one of the things that the people that packed that room were screaming about is Gavin doesn't give a damn about Boyle Heights.
That you can't do everything. You can't do anything.
Well, maybe you could make some more appointments if you weren't hosting a weekly podcast.
No, it's not just one podcast. Doesn't he have two?
I don't know if he's actually on the one with Marshawn Lynch anymore. They don't put out that many episodes, and it seems like it's one of those things where they say Gavin's still a part of the show, but I don't think that Gavin's a part of the show.
It was like those final years that Barbara Walters was alive on The View. She'd just show up every now and then.
Sam writes in on the YouTube stream, isn't the fast food council just Ronald McDonald, the Burger King, Wendy, and the Taco Bell Chihuahua?
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why they didn't meet, because of all those No Kings protests.
And we have 4,000, I think, appointments that I make. So there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, quite literally, I can assure you if you saw my desk.
I love him making excuses why he cannot do the basest functions of his job.
Oh, yeah, because he's got more important things to do, like bitch on Twitter.
That have been vetted, and they're just waiting for my final decision, and I'm hopeful that
this makes it look worse. So you're telling me there's a whole bunch of appointments that have already gone through the process. They're just awaiting their signature. They're on your desk, but you're too busy campaigning in Nevada and hosting a podcast.
He is such a liar, too. None of this is true. Because if someone already made the decision, then all they need is a stamp with his signature on it, and boom, you're off to the races.
in there as well.
While franchisees like Campbell want clarity on the law, fast food workers have been wanting hearings on worker abuses and another pay raise. Representatives with SEI...
Wait, they want more?
Oh, they want more, Randy.
Well, that's the funniest thing about all of these minimum wage debates is it's never enough. Like even the $30 an hour minimum wage for tourism workers that the LA City Council backed away from after they passed it and all the hotels said they're going to move out of the city, that's still not enough to live on in this city.
Nope.
The labor group that pushed for this law, were not available for an interview for the story.
Either way, there's no decision made for us, against us. There's no decision made whether or not minimum wage can be raised again. I think everybody's at a standstill on this one.
She's been waiting for 2 years on clarity if that fast food minimum wage law applies to her. And the state has ignored her for 2 years.
Here's the thing, though. You could make $200,000 a year and still not be able to afford to buy a house in San Francisco or Los Angeles because you still need the down payment. You still need to be able to take care of all your other expenses. So telling these people that if you put this commission together and you keep giving them raises, and at some point they're going to be able to afford to buy a house in the community that they live in, it's just not true. That's never going to happen. You can bankrupt the restaurants in the process, or you can force them to automate just about everything and eliminate the jobs. But the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is not that the people who run the drive-thru at McDonald's are going to be able to afford to buy a home in any of these places, because they're just not.
Last year's state budget included $1.1 million for the council to hire 4 staff members. The Department of Industrial...
It's a job creator.
It is. I wonder if they get to work from home.
Wait a second. We can do some simple math here, even though we're California graduates. We're spending $250,000 per person to be on the staff of the Fast Food Council? And they don't even meet? So what do you get paid to do?
I don't know.
Relations confirmed all 4 of those positions have been filled. The department said the staff is working and preparing for upcoming meetings, but the department would not provide any more information beyond that.
Boy, there is the job you want to have. You work for a council that hasn't met in 2 years, and you're getting paid $250,000 to do it.
And all you do is you have to hit every drive-thru in town and stuff your pie hole and claim that it's research.
I was doing that for free for like 20 years.
We also reached out to the Speaker of the State Assembly, Robert Rivas, and State Senate Pro Tem Monique Limon. Neither would comment for the story.
Of course not. They don't want to comment on anything that makes them look bad or look like they're not paying attention to all the things that they do in the state of California.
So on brand. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Randy, how are we doing on the likes on the YouTube feed?
Let's check it. If you can hit the like button when you're watching us at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio, it makes a big difference. We're up to 80. Thank you all so much. And we're up to 674. No, wait. 674 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast. And on our main channel, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio, we're at 2,240. If you want to find those real easily, just
do a Google on YouTube
and search John Phillips, Randy Wang, and they both come up pretty easily.
And for a while, we had 666 subscribers to the podcast, which ironically enough is the same number that Barbara Ferrer has tattooed on her neck.
Next slide.
Now, Randy, you have yet another fast food update for us here in the state of California.
Culver City, the city where I am broadcasting from right now, wants to ban drive-thrus. For more on this, we go to CBS LA.
Well, California is the birthplace of modern drive-through dining, but tonight, Culver City is looking to limit that. CBS LA's Lauren Posen shows us why residents and the city are working to stop a new In-N-Out drive-through.
Okay, this is going to go down in flames, Culver City.
That In-N-Out in Culver City is one of the most popular ones in all of Southern California.
They're showing an image of it right there, and I know because I have been in that line for a very, very, very long time. In fact, when I used to work mornings here and I would get off at 10 o'clock, that was the perfect time to get in there because you'd be like the first or the second person who would get in there. And in fact, I had a deal with our buddy Dino, who used to be a screener here. Every single time that I was number 0001 on the receipt, I would send it to him. And then he would send me a big heart emoji. It is a true story.
Right now, this looks just like another empty lot. But this spot on the corner of busy Sepulveda Boulevard and Sawtelle Boulevard is where In-N-Out wants to build. Only problem? Culver City and some of its residents are pushing the pause button on this double-double.
Another drive-through. People don't need another drive-through.
It's In-N-Out, though. I mean, it is true that no matter how many In-N-Outs you build, they will always all be busy. But still, people like their In-N-Out burger.
You know what you have to do? You have to look at who's making these decisions, and you have to speak to them in their own language. So here's how I would craft the argument in favor of these fast food restaurants. Are you ready?
Yes.
If you do not allow drive-through windows at fast food restaurants, that's going to be real bad for business for the carjackers because there's going to be no one for them to rob at gunpoint. And we have to make sure to take care of those people because in California, we always bend over backwards for the criminals.
President Vanessa Martin helped rally her neighbors to take action and why it had to be stopped.
The idle emissions from idling cars for the environment.
Oh, stop it. How about the idle emissions from the 405? Let's worry about that before we worry about the people that are backing up on Venice Boulevard to go to that In-N-Out.
How many cars are on the 405 freeway every single day? And how many cars are in In-N-Out burger drive-thrus?
Exactly.
Environmental impact that drive-thrus have, as well as safety concerns. We have a school right down the block.
Another concern is the impact on traffic.
That is that In-N-Out.
Oh, yes.
Right
You know
across
it well.
the street from the station.
We're just a couple miles away from that proposed site, and look at this line behind me here. These cars just wrap all the way around the shopping center, going straight down the road here and inching into that neighborhood. It's exactly why City Council voted last month to pass a 45-day moratorium.
That motion passes 4 ayes.
Wait, there's a member of the Culver City Council whose name is Bubba Fish?
Oh, my. Imagine how that looks on a ballot.
So there you go. Culver City is going to war with In-N-Out Burger, and I don't think Culver City is going to win this one.
Nope. Culver City, you are going to lose. You might as well wave the white flag sooner rather than later. All right, we've got 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. Don't you go anywhere.
Something's not right here.
Crime is up all over the state.
The homelessness in the city is out of control.
The economy is sick. Taxes are high.
Housing is expensive and businesses are leaving. California needs fixing. And John Phillips is just the man to lead the charge. It's the Fix California Hour with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we're broadcasting live on the radio on 790 KABC and 810 KSFO, but we're also broadcasting live on the videos on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio or George Gascon.
Do a Google on YouTube.
Just search John Phillips, Randy Wang. It'll pop right up there. If you cannot find the link to the show, just email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. You can also watch us on Facebook, on X at Johnny Don't Like, on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. But we've got a huge chat room going on all afternoon. So check it out at Randy Wang Radio on YouTube and hang out. Follow along with the stories with us. We're having a great time till 3 o'clock.
And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for the Accountability Podcast. And that's easy to find over on YouTube. Because, Randy, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, you have a treat for the audience.
I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. We had a great stretch goal that we hit on Friday. For 500 subscribers, we made a special video of the Katie Porter story, the call from Mike in Valencia. You can see that now at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. If we get to 1,000, I have produced a very special video, which I worked way too hard on this weekend, of the caller Kathy from Malibu, who had all kinds of things to say about Martha Stewart and Madonna. You're going to want to see that call. We will premiere it live on the show the second we get to 1,000 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast. YouTube.com/@Accountability Podcast.
800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Here with an update on the environmental disaster in Boyle Heights, Mr. Randy Wang.
Well, first we were dealing with the fire. Then we were dealing with the rotting food. Then we were dealing with the rats. And now we're dealing with the flies.
Oh, my.
For more on this, we go to Fox 11 in Los Angeles. And, Johnny, can you guess the reporter that went out there for this one?
Well, it had to be Short Straw Seedorf.
Again in Boyle Heights tonight, a water main break just down the street from the fire-damaged Lineage warehouse.
Okay, that one you can't blame on Lineage. That's just the city's own rotting infrastructure.
Adding to a growing list of frustrations for the neighbors there. Tonight, street repair crews out in force. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf is live at the water main break with the latest for us. Matthew, what is going on?
Yeah, it seems like there's a list of issues going on, but officials say that this is unrelated to the warehouse. But even here,
this is just your regular old California has not fixed its infrastructure, and these things pop every single week all over the city because the water mains are over 100 years old.
Is it possible for the people of Boyle Heights to catch a break?
No.
Because we know we've dealt with the chemical fire. We know we dealt with the rotting food. We know we're dealing with the rats. We know we have the unhealthy air. And now we have flies the size of 747s.
Katie Cat writes in, a regular biblical plague in Boyle Heights. The next thing you know, cats and dogs will be living together. You remember before even this, you had the big oil spill in Boyle Heights. These people have had to suffer, and the government every single time says they're here to help, and they're really not. We will be, by the way, covering the full uncensored town hall where Karen Bass and Barbara Ferrer got cussed out on this Wednesday's Accountability Podcast.
You can still smell all of the horrible things, but Elliot will give you a live look tonight. You can see crews still working to fix this pipe. Just the latest problem in here in this neighborhood.
We've decided that it is cheaper to wait for these things to explode and then replace them than to just proactively replace the rotting infrastructure.
Normal guy. That's the normal one? Yeah. A new problem now swarming in Boyle Heights.
Okay, does that look like Los Angeles or does that look like the African savannah over a rotting zebra?
It looks like the day after the end of the world.
That's a medium one.
Yeah, that's a medium.
Thousands of flies buzzing around homes and businesses as crews race to remove millions of pounds of rotting food.
They gotta stop showing the pig's feet.
Oh, come on.
From the fire-ravaged Lineage warehouse.
Oh! Somehow a pig's foot went all the way out into the middle of the street.
And believe it or not, kids, a bomb did not go off in this area.
Oh, close enough.
I hope so they don't get infection or something like that.
This is that guy that Seedorf talked to 2 weeks ago that they caught him in a shot dry heaving because this guy's fixing cars right across the street.
His name's Martine. You know how I know that?
How do you know that?
It's on his shirt.
Remember, this is the guy that the city decided to start towing his cars to make room for the fire vehicles, and then they impounded them, and then they sent him a bill.
Yeah, they determined he's been too lucky in life.
Going on you right now.
Good. This is small. This is a baby. Or you can see big flies like green flies.
Workers Sunday loading trucks.
I think we're creating all new kinds of species down there in this food warehouse.
We are. We're going to have a whole new crop of villains for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Spoiled crab meat, beef, pig feet, and other rotting food we've previously...
I'm still convinced, even though I don't want anyone to have to actually have me prove it, I think the worst smell is the rotting crab.
You think so?
I don't know why. I'm just imagining that the shellfish rotting is going to smell worse than the rotting pork.
I can tell you this. If I cook salmon and I do not take the packaging that it was in and put it outside in the outside trash the moment I take the salmon out of the packaging, my kitchen will stink for 24 consecutive hours.
Yep.
Previously documented with odor blasters on.
Those don't do anything. This is the equivalent of spraying 10 cans of Lysol out into the atmosphere. It's not doing a damn thing. Namaste Chica writes in on YouTube, Boyle Heights, that's fighting, always crying, no kings, but voting the same career Democrats and useless politicians. That is true.
Trying to cut through a sickening stench that won't leave.
I smell flies. Now I'm worried for that. You know?
Now? Where the hell have you been?
This poor guy. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people that can get relocated and maybe they get put up in Airbnb. This guy's shop, his livelihood is right here across from this warehouse. What is he supposed to do?
Because all the flies are touching.
Yeah, for that.
About a mile away, the stink is in the air.
Oh, my God.
Seedorf, I might need to turn you into drop, my friend.
You know what's going to happen?
What's that?
They're all just going to burn their birth certificates right there in the center of town, and they're going to call ICE, and they're going to say, send me someplace else. I can't take it anymore.
And now they're dealing with this, a water main break.
The pressure on my water did fall a little bit, and now it makes sense.
Surveillance video obtained by Fox 11 captured water erupting through the pavement Sunday afternoon, flooding the intersection. I thought it was an earthquake. Crews moved.
Are we at this point not sure or certain that Boyle Heights was built on top of an Indian burial ground?
You know, it's like when you play blackjack and you lose like 3 or 4 hands in a row, you go, okay, it's not statistically possible to really lose much more than that, and then you just continue to do it. These people are busting just hand after hand after hand after hand.
Then digging for hours to repair the broken pipe. Dozens of customers left without water, but California Water Service says the break appears to be unrelated to the warehouse fire, despite happening just down the road.
Just your typical California incompetence and dereliction of maintenance.
Something else to add to this community. It's pretty crazy.
Frustration here still boiling over.
I'm not one to get disgusted by a lot, but it had me like dry heaving.
These poor people.
Oh, my.
All right, we've gotten to the point, John, where there are now comments being posted in the chat that I cannot put on the screen.
I noticed that.
I appreciate them. I think you're all aware of who the chat is referencing, but I have to maintain some level of class. You can say whatever you want in the chat, but those comments about a certain former congressman from from Orange County, those we can't put on the screen. But
you're not helping.
I'm really not. I got my tongue tied.
After weeks of smoke, a sticky stench, rats, and now swarms of flies, many say they're ready for one thing, this cleanup to be over.
I know, that's too much.
We really are living in our own little Chernobyl here.
Well, don't worry, though. The city of Los Angeles says they're right on top of it.
Sure.
They finish ASAP.
Here's a live look as crews put in that new pipe. They estimate that it could be at least a couple of more hours. Again, dozens of people in this area without water tonight. Reporting live in Boyle Heights, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Any prediction on what's next for that area, Matthew?
Going to get hit by a meteor?
Don't give the gods any ideas.
We're going to move out of the way as this truck's pushing through here. But again, just so much going on in Boyle Heights. You think about the warehouse fire, the smoke that so many residents were dealing with the last couple of weeks, then the smell, and then the flies, and now this is just a list of things going on out here.
A list of things, yes, indeed, as well as the frustrations. Thank you so much, Matthew Seedorf.
There you go. That is just another insult to the injury that is facing everyone in Boyle Heights on a daily basis. Now the rats have brought in flies that are all swarming around the neighborhood because of the rotting food. And to make things even worse, the water main broke over the weekend, so now you don't even have any water to bathe in that'll give you scabs.
So that's what's going on in Boyle Heights. But, Randy, we know that there have been beach takeovers in Orange County. One that happened on the 4th of July in Newport Beach. One that was being advertised to happen and then canceled in Huntington Beach. And now it looks like there might be yet another location in Orange County where these little bastards will take over.
The TikToking teens tried to target Knott's Berry Farm. How dare they? I had a lot of fun in the AI picture for this one because I made sure I was holding a bucket of fried chicken and John was holding a boysenberry pie. This is what I spend my mornings doing. For more on this, here's KTLA 5.
Now at 10, law enforcement in Orange County on high alert this weekend after reports of more teen takeovers going viral on social media. And they're warning to those that are looking to cause trouble. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the News at 10. I'm Rick Chamberlain.
And I'm
You know, I thought of a great idea. If we really want to have an event that will go viral, you know, they have that ride at Knott's Berry Farm, Montezuma's Revenge. Maybe what we should do is have a whole bunch of kids eat a whole bunch of street tacos from right outside of Knott's Berry Farm and then go on Montezuma's Revenge while they're experiencing Montezuma's Revenge.
Or all you have to do is ask old Mrs. Knotts to undercook the chicken.
Winter, thanks for joining us on this Saturday. Winter Park police are now warning about a possible dangerous teen takeover that could target the historic Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, this alert comes after a similar warning for Huntington Beach this weekend. And just
you know how many people that are listening probably had their parents just drop them off completely unsupervised at Knott's Berry Farm for years, like going back to that. My dad would get dropped off when he was like 10 or 12. Nobody's doing that anymore because they know the kids nowadays are up to no good. They're not just going to the slanty house.
1 week after more than 400 people were arrested during a takeover in Newport Beach. Haley Winslow joining us live from Buena Park tonight with what police are doing now to prepare. Haley?
From Knott's Scary Farm to Soak City, it's a place always known for a great theme and always a great time. Tonight, teen takeover turned into more of a police takeover. So kids looking for a wild ride, think again.
I love that they're actually, this is the third story now of like Orange County shutting this crap down before it starts because what happened in Newport was unacceptable.
Well, if you don't do it, that theme park's going to look like a prison yard.
Thrills, shrills, and cops? Police patrol Knott's Berry Farm after catching wind it's the latest teen takeover hotspot.
I want to go.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
The unsanctioned event is expected to mean trouble.
So that's just the nature of social media. It's viral. You can make posters like in 5 seconds.
Proven in the past to lead to chaos and crime.
I didn't even know this was really a thing until...
You know what we really need to do? Since it's so easy to make these posters that go up on social media, what we need to do is we need to do a straight up bait and switch where the cops put out a fake poster of a big takeover that's going to happen in a warehouse in Orange County. And then as soon as they walk in the door, they walk out with cuffs.
Or if you really want to throw them through a loop, say there's going to be a takeover of a library. I guarantee you they've never been there.
July in Newport, that was a lie.
Over the holiday, officers arrested more than 400 unruly teenagers, mostly from out of state, and warned the same here if things get out of hand.
Man, my mom's like all scared. I'd rather not go to jail.
Got a good head on his shoulders.
Or die, you know.
Or make your mom mad.
Yeah.
Police even threatened to punish their parents.
Okay, I am for it.
That's what you have to do, whether it's the takeovers or the e-bikes. Go after Mom and Bill.
I saw a police car sort of circling the rounds around the perimeter trying to get to the lots.
Buena Park PD helps the theme park implement its policy established after enough nonsense at Knott's in 2023.
I am regretting that we were not live on video during those days. I think even back to, we did a whole segment in 2020 on that video of people at Disneyland beating the crap out of each other. This is what this show was made for.
4 p.m. on, kids 15 and younger now require a chaperone.
Yeah. And you can't rent one on Reddit.
I think they do need a chaperone.
The teen takeover trend is also threatening Huntington Beach this weekend and has struck other cities and states around the country, mostly targeting theme parks to really let loose.
Oh, don't do anything too rowdy. I don't want to hear no businesses getting...
You know, as much as people probably want to complain about how expensive it is to go to Disneyland right now, when they started lowering the ticket price at Knott's and Magic Mountain, it was only a matter of time before we got the Spirit Airlines crowd.
But that's the case with everything, though, isn't it? It's like the difference between Carnival Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean. It's the difference between Spirit Airlines and Delta or American. It's the difference between Walmart and Target. If you make your items a little bit more expensive, you attract a totally different kind of clientele. And people are willing to pay more to avoid all of the chaos. It's simply true.
Vandalize, okay? Y'all take it easy, okay? Let's be good out here.
Buena Park PD and other law enforcement agencies stayed inside the park all night to make sure it was all about safe, innocent fun. And there were so many kids here that the 7-Eleven down the street ran out of free Slurpees by 5 p.m. on 7-Eleven Day. Thomas was the last.
At least we know the next generation of teen takeovers won't be able to do these things because they'll be too fat from all the diabetes from the free Slurpees.
Kid to get a Slurpee. My photographer, I guess I didn't make the cut. Reporting live here at Knott's Berry Farm, I'm Haley Winslow, KTLA 5 News.
All right, Haley, many thanks for that.
So there you go. The teens tried to take over Knott's Berry Farm, but it was shut down before it even started.
There you go. Snoopy don't play. It's the John Phillips Show.
For 2 years in a row, the city of Santa Fe has become Travel and Leisure's #1 destination. 2 years in a row because of the great architecture, the weather, the culture, the history, The food. Oh, the food. You know, I got an email from a listener who spent the weekend in Santa Fe based on some of my recommendations, and I am so jealous. John wrote in saying, I hit La Boca on Friday based on your recommendation. That's the Spanish tapas place. They loved the shrimp. We went to the History Museum and the Palace of Governors, learned something new about the Pueblo tribes and how they always owned the land there. Loved all the artisans on the street. Bought some turquoise jewelry for the family. Got a green chili cheeseburger and some cocktails at the living room lounge. Oh, I'm so jealous right now. It's never been easier to get to the city of Santa Fe. There is a daily direct flight from LAX to the Santa Fe airport on American.
It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you're watching the show on YouTube right now, you should click like because we're trying to get that number as high as possible.
That's how YouTube pushes us out to an even bigger audience as we are slowly but surely trying to take over the internet 1 3-hour show at a time. We are currently at 113 likes, so thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, everybody, if you haven't.
And if we get the Accountability Podcast to 1,000 subscribers, Randy, you've got a treat for the audience.
We're currently at 696 subs. If we can get that to 1,000 by the end of the week, I have a very special video produced as very similarly to the Katie Porter video we played on Friday, which if you missed that, it's on the YouTube channel. It is a video detailing the call we got about 3 years ago from Kathy in Malibu. And it was a lot of fun to make, but I cannot show it to you until we get 1,000 subscribers.
The Fix California Hour continues in moments. Don't you go anywhere. Buying a car doesn't have to be painful. Just ask listener Pat from Woodland Hills, who went through CarPro.com. After giving all of his info to CarPro.com, Pat was contacted by Dan over at the dealership and got exactly what he wanted, which was a RAV4. Dan got right back to him, asked smart questions, found the exact vehicle, and kept him updated the whole way through. When he picked it up on June the 9th, Dan greeted him personally, introduced him to the team, and took him on a full test drive. Then they spent 30 minutes together after the sale going over all the features, the cameras, how to set everything up. He said it was the easiest car buying experience he's ever had, and he got great pricing too. He's already recommending CarPro.com and the dealership to all of his coworkers and friends. If you want that kind of treatment with VIP experience and great pricing, go to CarPro.com or call or text Tom Haynes directly on his cell phone at 818-435-6797. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers to the Accountability Podcast, and we just crossed 700.
We're at 702 now. Once we get to 1,000, we will have another John Phillips Show world premiere like the Katie Porter video we put out on Friday. We have another video ready to go that is the famous call, Kathy from Malibu, which had all kinds of things about Madonna and Martha Stewart. It is one of the craziest moments that ever happened on this show, and we have a brand new video for it. But we cannot premiere it till we get to 1,000 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast. I'm putting the link in the chat once again, youtube.com/@accountability-podcast, or do the Gascon.
Do a Google on YouTube.
Just type in the search bar, John Phillips, Randy Wang. This channel pops up and the Accountability channel pops up.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do this right now, assuming I can pronounce it correctly. KABC welcomes Kolo Heikai to the Pacific Amphitheater at the OC Fair on July 24th. Tickets are on sale now at packamp.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. All concert tickets include admission to the OC Fair. Tickets furnished by the Pacific Amphitheater. Good luck dialing.
Coming up after the news at 2, we're going to check in with our pal Heidi Harris in Sin City, Las Vegas. They had a great big fight over the weekend. Went out to dinner with friends, and we got there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and everyone said, all right, after about an hour or so, time to skedaddle. We're going over to the casino to watch the fight. A lot of people spent a lot of money this weekend paying for that fight on pay-per-view and betting on it too. All right. Gavin Newsom, speaking of the state of Nevada, was not in Boyle Heights this weekend dealing with the environmental disaster that is right now that entire community. Instead, he was in Nevada collecting chit so he could run for president.
Gavin Newsom, who just in that segment earlier told Ashley Zavala, I have hundreds of appointments on my desk that are just awaiting my signature, went out to Vegas over the weekend to campaign for other Democrats.
Great.
For more, here is CBS Sacramento.
California Governor Gavin Newsom in the state of Nevada this weekend, campaigning for Democrats and answering questions about his own poll numbers and a possible run for president. The governor is campaigning for Democratic candidates for governor, Las Vegas mayor, and Congress, all as he builds his own.
He's too busy to fill out the chair of the Fast Food Council, but he's got plenty of time to campaign for the mayor of Vegas.
You know, I've never understood that. If you're running for local office in a state, why do you need a politician from another state to campaign on your behalf? I've always been told you only need co-signers if your credit is bad.
Own brand in the important swing state of Nevada.
You guys ready to win? California Governor Gavin Newsom.
There's not that many people in that room.
No. How big a room is that?
Looks like somebody's closet.
Newsom campaigning in front of crowds of Nevada state Democrats.
I saw my staff out there about to jump over me.
Firing up support for Nevada candidates in the 2026 election cycle, while reporters ask him,
Boy, how the mighty have fallen. This is the best he can do for a booking for a political endorsement.
They all meet with supporters in a broom closet, too.
About his 2028 White House ambitions.
Governor, for 2028, are you considering running for president?
Yeah, I made the mistake of being very transparent and honest about 6 months ago when someone said, well, have you ever thought about it? And I said, well, yes.
The governor said,
didn't he used to say I have sub-zero interest?
Oh, yeah. That was back when Grampy Joe was putting on a master class. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
That his final decision would be up to fate.
I really believe it's fate. You meet the moment. You represent something.
Boy, we're just talking in full-blown cliches now.
You know, I've had rooms at the Luxor bigger than this one.
Where you can uniquely and distinctively make the case.
A new Qantas Insights national survey found Kamala Harris leading possible Democratic candidates for a presidential run.
Really? Didn't we try that already?
Well, what she has going for her is exactly what Grampy Joe had going for him in 2020. He was losing in Nevada, losing in Iowa, losing in New Hampshire, but he had the black vote behind him, so he went into South Carolina with Jim Clyburn's support and won there. And then on Super Tuesday, a lot of southern states voted, and he cleaned everyone's clock. And it looks like Kamala is going to use that exact same playbook.
Yeah, but in the race that she did run, she didn't win any of those southern states.
No, she didn't. She's trying to do better this time.
I will repeat myself.
With 35% support, followed by Newsom at 17, Pete Buttigieg at 12, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 11, and Josh Shapiro at 7%.
Hypothetical polls now they're fun. They're catnip. They're good for a headline.
You don't pay attention to them at all, do you, Gavin?
Oh, no, not at all. Let's look at your phone and see what's on the screen.
They're good for gossip. They mean absolutely nothing.
Newsom also spoke in Nevada about what he describes as a politically motivated criminal investigation he claims President Trump has launched against him and his family.
Even though it was started under Biden.
Yeah. What do you think his old lady was counting cards while they were playing blackjack over there in Las Vegas at the El Cortez?
Governor, are you planning to respond if you do receive a subpoena in the federal investigation?
Yeah, I'll respond to anything. I've been dealing with this for 14 months.
I think he wants to get out there and explain what is going on.
Andrew Acosta is a Democratic strategist who says Newsom is doing what Democrats want, taking on Donald Trump, the governor, again.
They know he's not going to be president in 2 years, right?
You know, here's what's funny. We talked about how the DSA candidates did well in recent elections in the state of New York, the state of Colorado, the big city mayorships. You notice the DSA candidates don't talk about Trump 24/7?
No, they talk about how the establishment fails to deliver, and say what you want about the ideology of Mr. Mamdani in New York. He is delivering on some of his promises, including just fixing the potholes.
Here is the difference between the Gavin Newsoms of the world, the traditional Democrats, and the DSA candidates. The DSA candidates do not frame everything politically as a battle between them and Donald Trump. The difference is that they treat Trump as if he's the symptom of some broken capitalist system, and they focus their attention on taxing the billionaires, ending U.S. support for Israel, Medicare for all, defunding the police, erasing the border, all the nutty stuff that they believe in. But with people like Newsom, you know that he hates Trump. You know that he regards Trump as being a king or whatever. But what does he stand for? That's hard to tell. I mean, this was the guy that was campaigning against the billionaire wealth confiscation tax until they got the number of signatures to put it on the ballot, and then he flips and goes, oh, no, we actually need that nationally.
You look at the DSA candidates that we've had over the last 10 years, and a lot of them are all acolytes of Bernie, and you go back to that 2016 campaign. Bernie and Trump were talking to the same people. They just had very different ideas of how to solve those problems, but those Bernie rallies were packed, and the establishment candidates, the Hillary rallies, they were not.
Well, you listen to these Democrats and look at two of them that just lost, Diana DeGette in Colorado and Goldman in New York. Both of them were impeachment managers. And whenever they'd get asked a question about something their opponent had said about them, they would fall back on trashing Trump and talking about being an impeachment manager. At a certain point, you're just beating the same dead horse over and over and over again, and you become white noise, especially if you're talking about someone who's termed out who can't run again. What they're doing is not being relevant, and I don't think they understand that. And Gavin certainly has spent a lot of time trying to frame himself as being the anti-Trump. Well, okay, you're the anti-Trump, for the guy that's not going to be on the ballot in 2028. What does that do for people in 2028? And it'll be interesting to see if he tries to change his branding and change his framing as we get deeper into this process to appeal more to these people. Although I can't imagine any of the DSA types looking at Gavin Newsom and seeing someone authentic.
Well, the problem that Gavin's going to have with that crowd is what you said, authenticity, but also failure to deliver on pretty much anything. You look at one issue, housing, even though Gavin just did a press conference today. Hey, we passed this reform. It has not moved the needle. It has not accelerated construction, and it certainly hasn't brought down the price of buying or renting in the state of California. He does not have any kind of a record to run on.
Going outside state lines to make his case, adding heightened speculation about his own White House run.
That moment will present itself.
I don't know if you are prepared, Gavin, for what humidity is going to do to that hair.
Oh, can you imagine?
Course of the next many months.
And Newsom told
it's going to look like one of those glaciers in Alaska.
Plans to also campaign ahead of the midterm election in the Deep South as well. He previously said...
Meanwhile, how many appointments are sitting on his desk for the Fast Food Council that he just cannot get his butt up to sign?
Would officially announce a decision on a possible run for president after the midterm November election. So stay tuned.
You know, November's coming up soon. And yes, a lot of people talking about the midterms, but let's not forget that man right there on the screen, Gavin Newsom, will no longer be governor in just a few months. Regardless of who takes over, Gavin's going bye-bye.
He turns into a pumpkin in January. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Randy, how are we doing with subscriptions to the Accountability Podcast?
Let's check out the latest numbers for our Accountability Podcast, which has new episodes every single Wednesday at youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast.
Accountability.
We're at 717 subscribers. When we get to 1,000, we have a brand new video to premiere for you right here on this show. It is a visual representation of Kathy from Malibu and all the things she had to say about John, Madonna, and Martha Stewart.
And I've previewed it. You're going to enjoy it. Trust me.
I spent way too much time creating graphics for that. We got to get 1,000 subscribers before we premiere it.
Heidi Harris joins us at the top of the hour, so make sure you stick around for that. Here with an update on the sale of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, Mr. Randy Wang.
It's still happening. We are still talking about selling the Coliseum.
And we still got our Oakland A's, baby.
No, you don't. And that is partially because the guy that Shang would always defend had the money, doesn't have the money.
Okay, let's go back and talk about Shang here for a second, because before we really were on to the fact that there was something fishy about this sale, whenever she would have a press conference and talk about the sale of the building, she used to always pause and say, now, I just want to be clear, I work for the city of Oakland. I don't work for the group that's buying it. Which is a very strange thing to say if you're the mayor of a city selling a property.
She sure seemed to make it look like if this indictment didn't happen after the recall, she was going to go work for Ray Bobbitt and AASEG.
I can get that.
But let's see what the current Oakland administration has to say about this Coliseum deal. Here is Cron 4.
Happening today, Oakland leaders are expected to vote on a major deal that could actually shape the future of the Coliseum.
The Coliseum, by the way, about a week ago, lost the only team that was playing there, the Oakland Roots soccer team. They said they're going somewhere else.
They were uprooted, huh?
City leaders are laying out their vision for the site this morning. Cron 4's Michael Thomas live in Oakland now with those details. Good morning, Michael.
Hi there. Good morning, everyone. Well, this meeting is set to happen at 9:30. It'll include Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee, along with other city council members, and of course, those entertainment executives that are set to buy the 50% stake that the city owns in the Oakland Coliseum complex.
I love that they're still trying to figure out how to come up with the money. The deal was 2 years ago.
And remember how angry they would get when they would hear suggestions that they didn't actually have the money?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into video as I talk about the details of this sale and this story. As we know right now, it will be being sold, the city's share for...
They're going to need to update their file footage. The stadium's not been that full in many, many, many years since the Raiders were there.
Since Reggie Jackson was hitting home runs.
About $110 million. It'll be broken up into different portions with an additional $15 million to be paid.
When you went to the minor league club to go see the A's play the Angels, was it full?
It was.
It was what, 3,000 seats?
When building permits are secured for future development, now the agreement would all...
Now that's more like the Coliseum of today.
Well, we had speculated that the entire point was to drive all the teams out, knock the building down, and turn it into very lucrative housing, correct?
That's sure what it seemed like.
So give Oakland an ongoing revenue stream, with the city receiving 6% of the future gross ticket sales.
Ticket sales for what?
There's no more professional sports.
At events held not only at the arena, but also the stadium. Supporters of the deal say it would also end the city's costly ownership responsibilities while helping create jobs in the area, attract more concerts and events, and create overall new revenue streams for city services. Entertainment industry leader Irving Azoff is set to...
Remember when they had that whole nonsense where Shang was trying to tout that, hey, the brand new expansion team to the WNBA, the Golden State Valkyries, they're going to be an Oakland team, when it turns out their office is in Oakland, but they're playing in San Francisco?
Oh, yes.
be there this morning. He's a co-founder of the Oakview Group and expected to join Mayor Barbara Lee and City Council to talk about the proposal discussions. Now, if this is all approved, the agreement later this morning, it would mark a major step towards redeveloping the Coliseum site. We'll be at that press conference this morning, back out here live again. It's set for 9:30 this morning. So as we get more details on that and perhaps maybe some overall views of what their official plans are, we'll keep you updated.
The latest that I've seen from reports from the Oakland report is that the banks are now trying to figure out how they can lend AASCG and Ray Bobbitt money below what interest rates are so they can actually afford to buy the Coliseum. And it sure doesn't sound legit at all.
And we really don't know the entire scope of the FBI investigation in terms of who was the original target of that investigation, what deals were they specifically looking at. This could be part of that investigation for all we know.
That's the latest here in downtown Oakland. I'm Michael Thomas. I'll send it back to you live in San Francisco.
All right, we'll check back with you. Thank you.
So there you go. As once again, it feels like one of these conversations that never seems to go away. We always talk about ending daylight savings time, and we always talk about this potential sale of the Oakland Coliseum that has been talked about for years and years and years.
Now, the people who are listening to this segment got a very, very, very different take than the people who are watching this segment.
Oh, why's that?
Well, I don't believe we've ever played a rap from this particular reporter before, have we?
We have not.
Is this individual typically on the sports beat in the Bay Area?
I think they do a lot of morning hits,
Okay.
which, little different.
Yeah.
He's got a little flair.
The report was solid.
Yeah.
But if you're not watching, you're missing out.
This is why we had to evolve to video. There is so much that we can bring you. We can get to watch these stories along with us. So if you're not actively driving, give us a watch right now and give us a like at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio.
All right, we've got one more hour coming up. The John Phillips Show. We're going to go live to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, and check in with our pal Heidi Harris about the big fight that happened over the weekend, the MMA fight that had all eyes on the state of Nevada. We'll also get into some of the national politics going on, the rise of the DSA within the Democratic Party, and the death of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Don't you go anywhere. It's the John Phillips Show.
agree to disagree, but our views are unapologetically right. It's the John Phillips Show.
And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are broadcasting live on the radio in Southern California on 790 KABC, on 810 KSFO in the Bay Area. And we are broadcasting live on video at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. You can also do a George Gascon.
Do a Google on YouTube.
If you type into the search bar on YouTube, John Phillips, Randy Wang, the channel pops up. If you cannot find it, just email us and we'll send you the link. We're also on X at Johnny Don't Like, Facebook at KABC Radio, Facebook at 810 KSFO, and Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. We're having a lot of fun here. Participate in the chat. Play along. We're here live until 3 o'clock every single day.
And if you haven't liked it, like it, because that makes it easier for people to find. It pushes it on people, and it gets our reach out there and puts us in front of more people. So if you're watching the stream on YouTube, please, please, please click the like button. That's very important in terms of the algorithm to get it in front of as many people as possible. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. She is an author, a political commentator, the host of The Heidi Harris Show, and the overall Las Vegas radio goddess. You can get her online at HeidiHarris.com and follow her on X at Heidiology. Heidi Harris, welcome.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for stopping by on this Monday.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to mention, when I was a kid, we got dropped off at Knott's Berry Farm. I swear we spent almost an entire summer there because my mom was getting divorced. So while she was with husband number 2, my brother and I would just get dumped off at Knott's Berry Farm. We thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Well, you weren't starting TikTok fights. You were just going to the Slanty house.
We did not do any of that. And we were like 9 and 11, and we were left there. My mom was a good parent. I mean, people did that back then, and nobody acted crazy. Nobody was in danger, and it was normal. It was a kinder, gentler world back then.
Are you sick of boysenberry pie?
You know, I don't like pies that are made out of fruit. So, you know, I'm the wrong person to ask about that. But I liked their fried chicken. The fried chicken was really good back then.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't like that? Besides the vegans.
Yeah, well, they don't like anything. That's why they're vegans.
So we've spent a lot of time talking with you about all of these stories. The business papers in particular, the business channels, love to say that Las Vegas is in decline, that no one's going there anymore, that people are not gambling like they used to, that there are other gaming cities that have people's attention. There are state lotteries, there's online, there's this, there's that. And then this weekend, I'm out at dinner with friends at 3 o'clock, and I don't even know why they wanted to go to dinner at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. And then we're sitting there having dinner, and they're looking at me like, okay, you're eating really slow. And I thought, what are you, in some sort of race? Do you have a plane to catch? And everyone goes, oh, no, we need to get to the bar so we can watch the big fight tonight because all eyes are on Las Vegas, Nevada, the big MMA fight, the Conor McGregor fight. And so we all have to split early because they're all going to watch the fight. And I watched the news all weekend, and oh, my God, Las Vegas was the epicenter of the globe. It's like back in the old days when boxing was big and they'd get the big Mike Tyson fight and all eyes would be on Las Vegas. And when I would look at these images of all the cars on the strip and all the people in the casinos and all the people betting on the fight, is Las Vegas coming back the way that it looked like on television over the weekend?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, first of all, you know, that did remind me of the Tyson fight because if you go and get an extra beer, you've missed it. And now you spent all your money. I mean, I looked at the ticket prices. Have you ever been to a UFC fight?
No.
MMA fight? Okay,
No.
First of all, let me just say it. I'm not putting down the sport in any way if that's your thing. Okay, I watched some of it. You can't see anything when you're there. The only way you can see it is by watching it on TV because if you're there, all you see is the poles and the chain link.
Well, and you're right. If you look down at your phone for a second to check your email, the fight's over.
That's it. That's over it. But I will give his opponent credit. At least he stopped and said, point to the referee, he said, "Hey, can you see his legs screwed up here? I don't want to keep pounding on this guy. It's not a fair fight." I thought that was classy of him, really, because he could have just kept pounding him and grounding him and everything else. And he just said, "Wait a minute. He clearly is not all there. Everything's not working, all of his parts." So I thought that was great. But yeah, quick fight, over and out. 15 million, I guess, was the base, right, that he got, plus who knows how much extra for the pay-per-view. And that's not bad work for one round. I'd go one round for that kind of money.
Well, for fights like that, I think it's almost like Christmas, where for Christmas, okay, the day where you get to see your family, the day where you get to have the turkey and you get to do all the things, that's great and wonderful. But what really makes Christmas Christmas is the buildup. It's the music, it's the lights, it's the decorations. And it almost doesn't even matter if the fight is something that people remember forever. It's the buildup, because people flew in from all over the globe to pay a lot of money to go see this thing. All the restaurants were full, all the hotels were full. Las Vegas won regardless.
Well, it depends on how much they gamble. Obviously, you're going to spend the money on the tickets at T-Mobile. That's obviously part of it. But how much do they gamble? You know, you've been to Vegas many, many times, many, many years ago when you were supposed to under age 21. When I was a kid, my dad was a showroom musician. And we all knew what happened. The shows had to end at a certain time because the point of the show was to get you to the casino and get you out onto the casino floor at a certain time, right? That was the whole point. If they're spending all their money on tickets to these ridiculously overpriced events, in my opinion, I mean, I realize the market will decide, but the prices are crazy for locals or any normal person to go. It's like a house payment for a lot of people. And if they're not going straight to the casino afterwards, those are the numbers you have to look at.
Yeah, I guess when you get to that price point, you might be attracting a different crowd. Instead of the crowd that wants to go and gamble, you're attracting the crowd that has gobs of money and they just want to be seen at an event that they know is elite.
Right. What's interesting, I think, is there's some numbers came out from Placer.ai. The median household income was for visitors, okay, $93,000 from January to May 2019, a little bit higher in 2026. But the Strip's median household income declined on many major event days. Now, that's interesting to me because what are you bringing in? The cooler crowd? You may spend all your money on tickets, but you're not necessarily going to spend it. Now, F1's one thing, you got the fancy people and all that. But a lot of these other events don't necessarily bring in a lot of people who are going to then spend all the money on everything else. That's the problem. We don't know.
Well, and you also know that for big events, let's just say New Year's, you know that they're going to raise the cost of what they charge for a drink. You know they're going to raise the cost of what they charge for a room. You know they're going to raise the cost for fill in the blank. And if you're just going because you like to play blackjack, you might just avoid it those weekends.
Exactly. That's, I think, part of what happens with some of these big events. People say, the heck with it. If I'm not into MMA, I'll watch it on pay-per-view if I am or something and not bother with all the crowds. I'll go at a time when it's a little off season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I imagine there's a lot of truth to that.
But I will tell you a funny story. I was at Walmart the other day, got to chit chat with a couple of guys who were buying some coolers and this and that. I don't know why, line was long. I'm chatting with, they're buying a couple of coolers, and guess what? They were in Vegas for some bowling event. What were they buying? They were buying coolers and beer and ice. And I said, we call you guys the cooler crowd, right? And I said, we say it lovingly. And they said, oh yeah, we know that. I'm talking the styrofoam polyester.
Oh yeah.
Those cheapy ones. I'm thinking, how are you going to bring that through the casino? Anyway, but yeah, we love those people. But these guys were going to Walmart ahead of time because they didn't want to spend all of the prices that the hotels charge for all this nonsense. And I thought that was smart of them.
Have you ever been to Laughlin, Nevada?
I have actually worked. When I was a singer, I was down there at a place called Losers Lounge, appropriately named, many times. Yes.
When you check into a hotel in Laughlin, Nevada, they don't come in with one ice chest. They come in with 45 ice chests. I thought that someone had a liver transplant going on, an operation room in one of the suites because there were so many ice chests. And then they also have these pizza boxes that they bring to the room with them that are the biggest pizza boxes I've ever seen before in my entire life. It looked like you could fit a flat screen TV in this thing. And you see them take these pizza boxes into the elevator, and it's like, playing, I don't know, a game of Jenga, trying to figure out how to fit it in there without all the toppings ending up on the floor because the elevator's not big enough for the pizza box.
Laughlin, the branch office of hell this time of year.
We're speaking with Heidi Harris, who is a radio legend in Las Vegas, Nevada. I can see in the chat you have a bunch of fans who are tuning in as well.
Nice.
So over the weekend, on Sunday morning, I believe it was, we were notified that South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham had passed away. Now, I know this is going to sound odd. Lindsey Graham was 71 years of age. And you go, okay, for guys, if you're a big guy, that's kind of when they die. They're maybe on the low end, but, you know, for a man to die of a heart attack in his 70s, it's not like, you know, man bites dog. But by United States Senate standards and United States Congress standards, that guy is a whippersnapper. So to hear that a 71-year-old rolled a 7, I think a lot of people could not believe what they were reading in the newspaper.
Yeah, it was sad. I remember getting up at by 4 o'clock in the morning and saw the news. It broke my heart. I mean, I know let me just say this about Lindsey Graham. A lot of good things to say about Lindsey Graham. I will never forget his defense of Brett Kavanaugh. That was the most amazing thing I have ever seen. And that's when he really, I mean, there's a lot of things that his career you can talk about. People didn't like him going against Trump, blah, blah, blah. But when he stood up for Brett Kavanaugh, when Brett Kavanaugh was being destroyed, that couple of minutes in the hearing that he spoke about Brett Kavanaugh was unbelievable. His full-throated defense of him was amazing and so gutsy at a time when it wasn't the popular take, the stand to take. And I had a lot of respect for him. He was a great guy in a lot of ways, and just weird. What a weird thing was, here you are talking to President Trump on Saturday night, right? According to President Trump, he was talking to him on the phone. And then he talked to one of his, I guess someone who was with him, aide or somebody, and said, I don't feel real well. And the aide said, well, you need to go to the hospital right away. He said, nah, I can't die yet. I've got to do Face the Nation or which one of those shows tomorrow morning. I've got this, I've got that. I got things to do. We all have things to do. And I don't know that it would have helped him at all to pass like he did. It sounds like an aortic dissection. I don't know. I mean, I've heard of those before. Isn't that what killed Alan? Oh, I'm spacing it now. Who's playing hockey? Isn't that what he died of? Remember he was playing hockey with his son? Oh, I'm totally spacing it. You know everybody in Hollywood. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it was so sad that it's such a sudden thing. And I guess for him it was good because it was sudden and it wasn't a long, drawn out, miserable thing. But for everybody else, it was a shock.
Yeah, and it also hits a little close to home, too, because how often are you in a situation where you don't feel good? You know something's wrong.
Right.
But it is a Saturday, or it's a holiday, or it's 5:01 p.m., and you go, okay, I don't want to go to the ER, and I don't want to sit there for 8 hours, and I don't want to have to be around a bunch of people who are coughing and sneezing and hacking and probably shouldn't even be there in the first place, and I'm going to see all these disgusting things, and I'm just going to wait until my doctor is in the office on Monday morning at 9, and then I'll try to sweet talk my way into an appointment over there. And more often than not, we get away with that. But there are times when it really is an emergency and you really do need to go. And you go, okay, well, who am I in the grand scheme of things? This was a United States senator where, in theory, they can move heaven and earth if they want to go to the hospital, if they want to seek medical attention or have a doctor look at them on a holiday or late at night or on a weekend or whatever. But he felt the same way that many of us do when we just say, nah, we're going to kick the can down the road and wait. And it may have cost him.
Well, and we don't know how he felt either. I have a friend whose husband is late 60s, and he just collapsed one day while walking the dogs. And then he got up and, kept going. And then later on, she said, oh, had some pain in his jaw. I said, that is cardiac. I'm not a doctor, but that's cardiac. When you have pain in your jaw and he collapsed on the ground for no reason. And I told her, I said, you take him to the ER now. Don't go to quick care. Don't pay for an ambulance ride. Go straight to the hospital. And I sent her with a 10-foot cord for her phone to charge it, some water bottles, snacks. I'm going to be there a while. Turned out he had a valve problem that would have killed him. But sometimes they don't manifest the way you'd expect them to, and we don't know how Lindsey Graham felt. Maybe he thought he had some nausea, maybe it was heartburn. We don't know what it feels like. I have no idea what it feels like when you have an aortic dissection. So Who knows? And, and maybe men are just saying, and he just came back, by the way, from a huge trip overseas, as you know. That's exhausting in itself. You may be jet lagged and whatnot, and you could, chalk it up to those kinds of things easily.
So it looks like you're getting a lot of reaction in the chat where listener Nancy says it was John Ritter who died from an aortic dissection. Is that who you were referring to?
Who's saying blurred lines? Help me out here.
Robin Thicke, so you're thinking of Alan Thicke.
That's who I'm thinking of. Thank you. Remember that? He was playing hockey with his son at the time. Isn't that what he died of? Alan Thicke?
I think that's definitely possible. That's what listener Sean writes.
Okay, that's who I was thinking of. And was it John Ritter too? Might have been.
It might have also been John Ritter. I mean, this thing does happen.
It wasn't Mr. Furley.
Point. Yeah, well, that's the whole point. You don't know, and we all do our best to try to, take care of ourselves and be on top of these things, and you just don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody has their affairs in order like they should, do they? I don't.
And I'll say this also about Lindsey Graham. I know that there is a lot of heat from the right that was directed at him because he had a good working relationship with a lot of people on the other side of the aisle, and then on our side, people like John McCain, who didn't always play nice with his own team. But in a body like the Senate, if you are in charge of the Judiciary Committee and your job is to get your people on the Supreme Court or your people on the bench or whatever, your job is a lot easier if you can have honest conversations with people whose votes can be difficult to get. And for a long time, it was him and Dianne Feinstein who ran that committee, and he really courted her. And he really did a good job of charming her and of making her feel comfortable to work with him. And it wasn't even just Kavanaugh that he helped get through. It was Amy Coney Barrett and a bunch of other people on lower courts whose names we might not even know, but wouldn't be on the bench without his ability to call for a vote, to get the votes, to push it through. In fact, on the other side of the aisle, Dianne Feinstein had such a good working relationship with him, they dumped her as the Democratic voice on that committee. They chalked it up to her advanced age, which I'm sure played a part in it, but they didn't like the fact that she had such a good relationship with him.
Right. Well, you can't get much done in the Senate or any legislative body if you don't get along with people. I'm not saying you should give up your principles, but you have to at least talk to people. And we know because of what we do, and then you talk to people on a one-on-one basis, we all want the same things. We want to be safe in America. We want our children educated well. We want this, we want that. But where we diverge is how to achieve those goals. Some people think government's the way to achieve those. Other people think it's more about freedom and this and that. But if you can't even have a conversation and start with, okay, we agree on, let's start at the root of the tree. We agree on this. And let's try to get somewhere else. If you're not going to talk to anybody ever, and you're going to walk in every room, elbows out, how are you going to accomplish anything for your constituents? You can't.
So you're in Nevada right now, and so is the governor of California,
Please
Gavin
take
Newsom.
him back. Please take him. Take him.
Campaigning
I'll
on
drop
behalf.
off in Barstow. I'm willing to work with you, babe. I'm willing to work with you. Really. Go ahead. Sorry.
How much appeal does he have to Nevada voters?
Zero. Nobody can stand this guy with the hair. And by the way, I thought it was kind of funny when I saw that room he was in. I swear I had more people in my house last week than they were in that room. What a joke that was. And trying to get this guy Aaron Ford, our current attorney general, who's never in the state, try to get him elected governor, which I don't think is going to happen. What a joke that room was. I mean, that's all you can get. This is all the people who are going to come out to see you. And then he puts on the historic West Side, for those who don't know Vegas. The historic West Side of Vegas was where the black people had to live at one point. That's why they call the historic West Side of Vegas. So then what's Gavin Newsom do? Put on a shirt that says historic West Side during this. What do you know? Do you get black points for that? I mean,
sounds like Gavin.
Fooling with the hair and he creeps me out. He reminds me of one of those pastors with the big grin and the skinny jeans. They just creep me out. There's something about him.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Heidi, if people want to subscribe to your podcast, to your show, how can they subscribe? And we'll put the link
they can find
in
it
there,
anywhere. The new one is called Vegas Crime Files, all firsthand accounts of really cool Vegas crimes. Our next one's coming out about Henry Ruggs, who killed that girl going 127 miles an hour down. Remember the Raider player?
Oh, yeah.
all firsthand accounts. Talk to the Fatal Detective. You're going to want to hear this. Vegas Crime Files, wherever you get podcasts. And you can follow me on social at Heidi Harris Show.
Vegas Crime Files. Go
That's
subscribe to it right now with
Do
Heidi
it.
Harris. And we'll put a link in the chat so people can just click on the link and subscribe right there.
Thank you. Always great to see you guys.
Likewise. Love seeing you. Heidi Harris, everyone. It's the John Phillips Show. Okay, we just talked to Heidi Harris, who was live from Las Vegas, a city that is known for VIP treatment, concierge treatment of their high rollers. Only the people who bet the most get treated the best. Well, guess what? You don't have to gamble at all to be a VIP at carpro.com. These guys have been in the business for over 15 years right here in Southern California. They know the general managers, the owners of the big car lots here in Southern California personally. They're not a broker. It's free for you. Dealers pay them to participate. Only the good ones get to stay. You get connected as a referral. You skip all the games, and you get great pricing with that VIP treatment. Go to carpro.com, enter your zip code, what you're looking for, or you can call or text Tom Haynes directly on his cell phone at 818-435-6797. carpro.com. All right, coming up in moments, Randy, you have something to share.
We have some brand new graphics created from our listeners, and we'll play that for you when we come back.
And the crime blotter. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you can not only watch the show, but participate in the show with the chat feature.
And the chat room is alive, and it is popping every single day from noon to 3 there at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. Now, if you also comment on X and on Facebook, the comments do show up here, but I can't respond to them directly the way that we can on YouTube. So we encourage you to go to the YouTube channel. You can just search John Phillips, Randy Wang, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. And if you cannot find it, just email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. I will send you the link, but we've got a ton of people watching the show right now. Let's see how many likes we are up to after 2.5 hours. We are at 180 likes. Thank you so much. That helps us out a ton. But Johnny, we're not just trying to get people to like the show. We've got a whole other goal going on, don't we?
Oh, yeah. We're trying to get you to subscribe, which is free of charge, by the way. It doesn't cost you a cent, to the Accountability Podcast.
We are at 730 subscribers. You go to youtube.com/@Accountability Podcast. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. And if we can get to 1,000 by week's end, which is not asking for a lot, I have put together a very special video, a video representation of the lady from Malibu, Kathy, that called us a few years ago to rant and rave about Martha Stewart and Madonna. It's one of the most requested calls that we get to replay on this show. I turned it into a video, and we will premiere it on this show the second we get to 1,000 subscribers. You can help us out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/@Accountability Podcast, and send the link to your friends. Send it to your family. Let's slowly but surely take over them internets.
And Randy, before the break, you told me there was something that you wanted to share with the audience.
So some of our listeners are also artists, and one of our listeners created this great little graphic to support the show. I believe that is what happens when you tell Grok to have Katie Porter pour potatoes over John Phillips.
Please.
It's so lifelike, I can feel the third-degree burns. All right, Randy, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And this edition takes us to the San Fernando Valley.
In Sherman Oaks, where a condo was getting fumigated and people decided I'd risk getting poisoned by those chemicals in order to steal everybody's stuff. For more on this, we go to KTLA 5.
Surveillance cameras catch burglars ransacking more than a dozen condominiums.
Wait, he's not even wearing a gas mask.
No, he's not.
Oh, boy.
You know what? It's still probably safer than breathing in the air in Boyle Heights right now.
Yeah.
In Sherman Oaks, all while the building was being fumigated. The residents say they paid for 24-hour security, but the crooks cleaned out their homes anyway on the last day of a 3-day fumigation process.
Okay, what was in that building? If you're tenting for 3 days...
Maybe they had the same problem as Boyle Heights. I don't know.
They say the thieves took jewelry and electronics totaling tens of thousands of dollars. Sandra Mitchell is live in Sherman Oaks, where she's...
I mean, you know, you hit one single-family home, you can make off with a few things. But if an entire condo is getting tented, that's a lot.
Spoke to the angry residents. Sandra?
Yeah, Sharon, John, the people who live here really were uneasy about leaving their homes for 3 days with a big tent covering the doors and windows. So they hired a private security company. They thought that they would be patrolling the grounds, but instead they say at least one of the guards was sitting in a car outside while these...
Well, what do you think private security does? They sit in cars that look like cop cars and they sit and drive around. That's the appearance of security.
Well, sometimes they play lots of Candy Crush.
Well, there is that.
Burglars were inside for about 3 hours. The prowl in a Sherman Oaks condo complex, a burglary crew, at least 3 men targeting a building that was tented for termite fumigation.
They had left such a mess. It wasn't just that they stole stuff. They ransacked my unit.
How dare they?
That's just adding insult to injury for that poor woman.
It also sounds like they stole her voice box.
Yeah, she kind of sounds like a debarked dog, doesn't she?
Poor lady.
Residents of the building on Moore Park near Fulton Avenue were forced out for the fumigation last month. 3 days later, they came home to find 16 of the 21 units had been hit.
Oh, my God.
Those were some real disastrous termites.
It looks like she got raided by the DEA.
I lost all of my precious jewelry. We lost identity documents, passports, social security cards.
Doesn't seem like she's going back to Australia anytime soon.
Nope.
We lost electronics, cameras, game consoles.
It happened
Better find
in a
some
building
Vegemite here.
where 2-bedroom units sell for up to $800,000.
It is Sherman Oaks. 2-bedroom condo costs almost $1 million in the valley. There's nothing to do in the valley.
And you have rodents and you have people ransacking your house with dangerous chemicals in there.
$1 million neighborhood, everybody.
There are locked entrances and security gates.
You know, we had our concerns, some of us that live in the building.
Okay, I'm now starting to think it's actually the KTLA microphone that has issues with this story.
Could be.
Maybe the First Lady did have a voice problem.
About security, you know, and so we hired a separate security company.
The residents tell KTLA they were worried to be away for 3 days, so they hired a private security company. But they say that company failed to protect them, and they think it might be an inside job.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. I was thinking that myself, but for them to go to the news with that leads me to believe that they have stumbled on some evidence that might be useful.
There is definitely a possibility here that they hired a security company because this condo complex was going to be abandoned for 3 days, and that security company just happened to have some friends that could rob the place blind while the security guy was just watching.
They came through the back, so they just ripped through the tenting in the back and just had full access to the whole building.
It's happened before.
So not only is all their stuff gone, but the building still has termites.
In January 2025, burglars hit a Santa Monica apartment building being fumigated.
Okay, this is another reason why we're so glad to bring you the visuals along with the audio on this show. Because, Johnny, for the radio listening audience, they're showing us security footage of this condo complex getting burglarized in the past. And what does it look like they're having to blur out?
Plumber's cleavage.
Somebody who is busy stealing doesn't have time to pull up his pants.
LAPD is investigating and say that thieves this time knew when to strike in the hours after the chemicals had cleared and just before the residents returned home.
They really went through everything. They went through cupboards, drawers, closets. They were pretty thorough. We got a lot of...
Well, it seems like they had all the time in the world.
Oh, yeah. And they weren't wearing masks, so their kissers are all on TV.
A lot of things stolen.
And some of the residents who live here say they are considering possible litigation against the pest control company, the fumigation company, and yes, the security company. LAPD has no suspects. We're live tonight in Sherman Oaks. I'm Sandra Mitchell, KTLA 5 News. Sharon John, back to you.
I don't know how the termite company can be liable for this. I mean, they put up the tent. Is it on them to guard it all the time? That's why they hired their own securities.
What are you supposed to do? Dig a moat and fill it with alligators? I mean, the building's filled with dangerous chemicals to begin with. What else do you want?
Listener Stevie writes in, I hope they stole a belt. Crazy Eights writes in, as an exterminator, it does sound like an inside job. Most companies outsource tenting. They are not the cream of the crop.
Well, sounds like these people have a great big mess to clean up.
Yep.
Good day, mate. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you could do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you issued a challenge to the audience to get 1,000 subscribers to the Accountability Podcast.
The Accountability Podcast with John Phillips and Randy Wang. We'll have a brand new episode up on Wednesday. I'm putting a link in the chat where we're going to play the uncensored town hall where Karen Bass and Barbara Ferrer got cussed out by the Boyle Heights residents. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to that so you can check it out on Wednesday. We're at currently 746 subscribers. When we get to 1,000, we have a very special video we will premiere right here on this show. It is one of our most requested calls of all time. The crazy lady from Malibu who had all kinds of things to say about Madonna and Martha Stewart. If you want to see that video, you got to help us get to 1,000 subscribers at youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast.
And if you're watching us live on YouTube, make sure you click the like button. It's very important to getting this program out in front of as many people as possible. Right now, we're at 199 likes. We'd like to get that number up. So if you're watching, definitely click that like button.
And what's great is, we sign off in about 10 minutes, but there are so much content on the channel. There's segments from the past. There's also every live show that we've done for the last week. So if you missed any of them, they're right there. We got tons of stuff for you to watch all day long at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio.
And right now, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
It's Wild Wild West out here.
It's the California Crime Blotter with John
and Randy.
And Randy, this one takes us to the OC.
A guy in Santa Ana got jumped for his gold chain.
Oh, no.
For more, here is Fox 11 in Los Angeles.
That's right. When you look at that video, it was such a brutal attack. And as you know, gold chain robberies, they've become all too familiar in Southern California. And unfortunately, in this case, the victim tried to hold on to that gold chain. And in the struggle, it just turned violent.
It was traumatizing. This is where I grew up. This is where I lived all my life. And it just it's so much more traumatizing because my younger...
Holy cow! Getting thrown to the ground over a chain?
Maybe if you wear a gold chain of that size, you need to be built like Mr. T.
My brother was with me, and honestly, anything could have happened that night.
He was on his way to pick up a pizza at Little Caesars in Santa Ana.
How many people were trying to steal this chain?
It looks like maybe a dozen.
We also just skipped past the most important detail of the whole story. Let me just rewind it a couple of seconds.
He was on his way to pick up a pizza at Little Caesars in Santa Ana.
Oh, that is a tough Saturday night.
What is your go-to pizza place of choice?
It's not Little Caesars. When the best thing they can say about their pizza is that it's hot and it's ready, good luck. I like Pitfire.
And suddenly,
I like Round Table.
Round Table is good.
A group of men jumped him.
The main person pulled my chain from behind, and I immediately reacted. I turned around, and I saw it was a taller person with his face covered with a ski mask. And the first thing I thought is one of these people may have a weapon, and I just panicked.
Yeah, if you see a guy in a ski mask in the middle of summer, and there's, I don't know, no bunny slope, they're there to rob you.
Yep.
Immediately.
This is why in Stockton they banned ski masks.
The 24-year-old who asked us to protect his identity says he immediately tried to run, but it only made things worse.
When they initially pulled my chain from behind, I immediately...
They almost got his shirt off like he's in the middle of a hockey game.
Yeah.
Was able to hold on to my chain, and I ran with it, and they chased me as I was running. They punched me, they pulled my shirt, they knocked off my glasses, and I think just me running away with what they were after made them all the more aggressive towards me.
You know what he should have done?
What's that?
He should have said, pulled a line from Bugs Bunny. You wouldn't hit a man in glasses, would you?
He says the brutal beating captured on security footage left him bruised and in pain. The attackers managed to take his gold chain with a cross and the pendant of Jesus Christ.
Okay, these people are definitely going to hell. They stole a Jesus chain? My goodness.
The value.
Maybe they just thought it was a T.
No. They don't care.
Of a chain is nowhere near as my life or my younger brother's life, but that chain did have value to me. It was my religious chain. I always wore it. I always prayed with it, and I've had it since, just for many years.
We need to find this guy's chain and get it back to him so he doesn't become a Scientologist.
On Friday, June 19th, around 11:30 p.m., in the parking lot of Little Caesars near Westminster Avenue and Fairview Street. The 24-year-old says his younger brother was with him that night. Both are physically okay, but he says the trauma is still with them. Now he's hoping someone will turn in the men who did this.
It's like a pack of wild animals.
It is. These are like dogs with rabies. What are you going to do with that?
What happened to me, I would not wish that on anyone else. I hope.
And this is happening in Orange County. What the hell? I mean, I know it's Santa Ana, but still.
Santa Ana has some pretty rough parts.
That justice gets served, and it was very traumatic, and I hope that it doesn't happen again.
And unfortunately, police do not have a good description of those suspects. But if anyone recognizes the people in that video,
there's like a dozen of them.
No, it's going to be hard to catch these kids.
If they know anything about this case, they should contact the Santa Ana Police Department. And Laura, Christine, you know, we've done other stories very similar to this in the sense of, you know, just strangers going up to people and taking off their necklaces.
We remember the woman who was mowing her lawn in Linwood when the guy just ripped her chain off.
Clean off, right when she's doing yard work.
Gold chains. And law enforcement, you know, they've made it very clear that it is going on. And, you know, these people are targeting folks who are not paying attention, maybe on the phone.
Maybe Chief Moore from the LAPD had it right. Just don't ever walk around with jewelry.
Well, so what are you supposed to do? Bring a gun with you when you're going to pick up your pizza?
And so they suggest if you do have a necklace or a gold chain, kind of cover it up, put it under your T-shirt, just to be safe.
Gina, I think that what stands out to me, it wasn't just one or two people robbing somebody. It was a group thing. I'm wondering if it was
a pack of wild hyenas.
It was. Have you ever seen a pack of coyotes attack an animal before?
Yes.
I saw a pack of coyotes attack a skunk, and it was one of the most traumatic things I've ever witnessed before in my entire life, and that's what this reminded me of.
Some kind of gang thing or initiation or just a mob mentality?
You know, one of the things the deputy told us in the last story was that usually one person will go up and run to the victim and others are waiting in the car. In this case, as you said it, there were several. And when the victim tried to hold on to the chain and run away, it just became, you know, something even worse for him.
There you go. A real awful story coming out of Santa Ana.
And you know what would have happened? Had this guy had a gun and he opened fire on this pack of teens, he would have been the villain. And all we'd see on the news is graduation pictures of all those little bastards, and we'd hear about how they were the pillar of the community. All right, that's going to do it for us today, but we'll be back tomorrow at noon for another edition of The John Phillips Show.